it's Leanne here, and today on my channel I'm going to be talking about how I moved to Tennessee at such a young age, because I feel like since I've gotten here, I haven't really chit-chatted about, I've talked about it a little bit, but I haven't really chit-chatted about the whole move and the process. I have about, I don't know, like 20 to 30 minutes, which is just enough time to talk about it. And I have some notes on my phone. And so we're just gonna start. For some of you guys who do not know me and are new, because recently I have been getting a lot of new subscribers. Hello, welcome. We need to find like a name for you guys. Like, I feel like back in the day, if you guys are old subscribers, you guys would know. I think I started out with like the Leebies because that was like my nickname, but I hated it. So we don't really have a nickname for you guys, but like we need one. There's just so much to talk about. A little bit about me. First of all, my first job ever was working at Publix, and I talked about it a little bit in a makeup video, I think. Go of Publix because it just no longer served me, which is true, and I really truly did love my job working at Publix. I will have all of the stuff that I use linked down below. Right now I'm using all of the Coco Kind products on the screen. I worked at Publix for a couple of weeks, over 5 years, and I loved my job. I loved working as a bagger, a cashier. Cashiering was actually my favorite out of everything, but I was also a customer service rep, so I worked the back office. I counted all the drawers at night, so I've done a lot when I worked at Publix. One day my mom forgot her phone at home, so my phone blew up, and that day I was actually off, but my phone was blown up from her work's phone about how she forgot her phone and she wanted me to drop it off to her. So that was the plan. So that's what I did. I got ready really fast and I dropped it off to her. Now at the time in Florida, she was working pretty far away. It was like 45 minutes-ish away. So it was a bit of a travel. I'm going in with e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and it was a bit of a travel. So she gave me $20. I was obsessed with Panera. She's like, go to Panera and get yourself something to eat. That's what I did, but I also had a savings account at the time, which it was originally a savings account and then it moved into a checking, and it was old, and it was like taking like $11 a month. So it's like, I'm gonna go get that taken care of because I had already made a new savings account on the app. I feel like I've told this story like once or twice, but I went on the app and I made a new savings account, transferred all the money. I just needed to close it, and I had to go to the actual bank to get that taken care of. So Panera was right next to the bank at the time. She pretty much just loved my customer service voice. She was really desperate, needing a part-time teller. I had, at the time, that was like right before Hurricane Ian happened. It was time to let go of stuff that didn't serve me, and my whole goal, and I did do it for a while, was to work at Publix and my current job, but things just didn't work out. And let me tell you, when things don't serve you anymore, there comes a time where you kind of feel like burnt out, and like everything you do is like such a hassle and a task, and that's what life felt like. So I worked for Publix for an additional, I got in the job in August, hurricane hit in September. So I want to say like ending of January is when I put my 2 weeks in. And that was kind of basically the story of how I got my job. I worked at the part-time teller position for about 2.5 years, and I was just really working on a lot of different things. I was working on bettering things that I needed to. Next, we're going to eyeliner and mascara. This eyeliner is from online Walmart. I can't even tell you what brand it is anymore, but that's basically kind of the backstory. I could go in more in a depth story time video if you guys want. Well, I have a few do's and I have a few don'ts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each. I do one do and one don't because they kind of like go together, sort of. First of all, a do is like if you're trying to move to a different state, you are saving money, as you should. 10,000 is the bare fucking minimum, in my opinion. Like 10,000 is like the bare minimum. I would say shoot for like 15 or 20, because if you're like me who I've moved with hardly anything, or if you're moving with nothing at all, I would completely suggest going higher. It just depends on the area. Make sure you do your research, because let me tell you, doing my research made it so much easier when it came time to booking all of the necessities, because I know where I wanted to live. I knew where I was working. I just knew all of those things. So it made it so much easier. All the stories save $10,000 or more preferably, because I ran out of money pretty quickly, let me tell you, out of that 10,000. Now, it's not like debilitating, like I'm like under stress, but because I'm not, but I feel like that was a cat hair. I feel like I could have used more, and I could have gotten like a new bed set, and I could have gotten a new dresser. Don't. And I talked about this in a different chit chat like update video, is that you should not use a moving agency. First of all, I like knew the company that I was using. Like I researched a little bit. They did not advertise themselves as a moving company. So when I found out that I would be getting a different company to actually and physically move my shit, I was kind of pissed. Learn from my mistakes. If you're going to move, I would suggest, if you can, use a U-Haul. It's gonna take more time and it's gonna piss you off dramatically, but first of all, it's one price. It's just gonna be so much easier, faster, and me and my mom had to keep calling to find out where our stuff was because they were not communicating to us. And we slept on an air mattress together for, I'm gonna say like 2 weeks together. I love my mom dearly. She's my mom. But an air mattress for 2 weeks? Heck no. Heck no, girlfriend. You buy small things in a box for later. That's exactly what I did actually. And let me tell you, it was a lifesaver. Those are the things that I took with buffs, so that way we could have like plates and bowls. And honestly, I love myself for doing that, because it took about 2 weeks to get our furniture. That was one thing I did love. And it doesn't, and here's the thing, like I did Target because Target just like has stuff that I love in it. But you could go to Walmart. They have really good stuff for cheap. Walmart is a really good place to start, especially if you're my age and kind of just starting out in life. It doesn't even have to be glassware too. I have so many brushes and I can't find the one that I want. Don't buy the name brand grocery items. It's not a must. I mean, if you're like me and have like dietary restrictions, like I'm gluten and dairy free, and I try to be, Aldi's has a lot of good stuff. You just have to research. Not in any way sponsored, but I started using the Fig app probably like almost 6 or 7 months ago, maybe even a little longer than that. The Fig app is perfect for me, and if like anything comes up, like you have to turn vegan, or if you find out that you have PCOS, or just like anything in general, you can always switch it up. It does cost a price, but they personally gave me a code. I don't think you really need to have name brand, in my opinion. It's not a must. Kind of going back to saving money, I would suggest highly to move at least like $50 into your moving fund each paycheck. That way, saving money, it's a little bit, not a lot, and anything extra you could definitely put in a regular savings and you can kind of like flop back and forth with it. I found that the most easiest for me personally. A don't though is to not get rid of all of your furniture. If you're like me and moved with your family, because we all kind of just wanted to move here, don't get rid of all your furniture. It's not necessary, and honestly you can swap out. A do is something that I had to get used to, is having to sacrifice things that I wanted. And this is more towards like preferential, but like stuff like, you know, being able to freely go to Target and get this one thing or two things, or things that you didn't need on your grocery list. That was one thing that like I had to sacrifice. For me personally, the hell I made it here. So a don't is putting your clothes in a box. Bag them bitches, because let me tell you, bagging them took quite a long time. But I felt like we weren't using the right bag. I felt like the putting away process was so much easier, whereas like if you, holy shit, that was the air bag. If you put them in a box, sometimes like you may not have room for the hangers, so you have to like rehang them, or they're out of order. I feel like I personally put them in a bag. Don't put them in a box. It wastes time and space that you need for other things. Get to know the area you will be living in / researching places near you. This is something that I did probably like a month prior to moving, and I found the nearest grocery stores. I found the nearest stores that were a little further away that I preferred. So finding things in your area, I think this is like pretty self-explanatory, but personally for me, I like knowing where everything is. I don't like having to like at the spur of the moment be like, oh, I wanted to go to Target, and finds out Target is like 3 years away, you know? To me personally, that would stink. And plus it gives you, like if you're like me and live outside the city, you know, and traveling to the city, it makes it like fun, because then you get to view different areas and you're not kind of like bored of the area that you're living in really quick. I'm lucky though, because personally I know like the immediate area near me, but I thought it was fun for the first few weeks to be able to like go to different places. Like we went to 2 different malls. One was out in Turkey Creek, one was in Knoxville. Raising Cane's was really good experience. Went to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, a lot of different places. This is a don't, the last don't. Do not use the moving fund for anything other than the moving fund, unless you really need to, like something truly freaking happened, or you know, you broke your ankle or something, like I said, like something like happened. I don't suggest using it for anything other than the moving fund. It made my life so much easier, and I knew how much was in it. But I feel like I could have hit so many different other areas and topics, and if you have anything else that you're genuinely curious about or any questions, don't be afraid to comment them down below. I feel like I could talk about hours about how I moved here to Tennessee, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, and tell me your dream state to live in. Bye.